and gentlemen, are you ready for the biggest fight of the year? Dun, dun, dun. What's up, Sean?
You are a nut, man. I love you.
From another mother. What's up, family? How you like the invisible American ninja? Oh.
Wow. Yeah, I didn't really know what to expect, and you did not disappoint.
You know, every time, man, that I have an amazing guest in this show, I always like to do things that are different, that can be related to the things they are working on. Because right now, it's a whole lot of fight going on. It's a whole lot of chaos out there. And what a great time to have you on this show, my friend, so that we can, you know, go right into some of those things. And I'm telling you right now, you guys, this is going to be a very, very good show. Grab your pen and papers. We're going to dive deep. My goal with this show is to bring amazing people like Sean, like some of the CEOs and other influencers that I bring here to help you guys overcome something difficult, achieve your goals faster, get to the end result, so all of us together can make poverty history. That's my goal. When I'm no longer here and I'm in the next life, I want people to go back to those videos and be like, man, that one show, man, Sean and Carlos, they bought it. The A game, they had fun. They just took it to a whole nother level. And ladies and gentlemen, for you guys that don't know this brother here, let me introduce him proper. Let me bring, you know, this guy, man, his record is amazing. So for you guys that don't know, Sean is a true Renaissance man. Sean Kanan, epitomatized. I don't even know how to say some of those words. It's so beautiful an expression. But he's the expression of the triple threat, having achieved success as an actor, producer, author. His second book, Success Factor, became an Amazon new release bestseller 1 week after its release, and it was recently named, look at this, one of the 20 most inspirational books in the last 2 decades by Book Authority. Not only that, the list goes on. Sean has been interviewed numerous times, you know, by Fox Business anchor Maria Bartiromo, Katie Couric. He has hosted the Miss World pageant in London, and it goes on and on. Sean's acting career exploded right with his breakout performance as the villain, as I always call him, the villain, Mike Barnes, in the Karate Kid movie, #3 movie, like right here, this one, that's the one. That's the villain right there, Karate Kid, beating out over 2,000 hopefuls in an open call to this iconic award-winning roles in daytime television, playing the black sheep AJ Quartermain. And on General Hospital, to his critically acclaimed portrayal as a deacon, sharp with the young and the restless and the bold and beautiful, television most syndicated show in history, seen over 100 countries, having appeared in more than 1,000 episodes of network television and 50 films. Sean is recognized around the world. He's recently created stars in their critically acclaimed Emmy Award-winning, check this out, guys, digital series is Studio City exclusive on Amazon Prime. Wow, what a record, brother Sean.
That was probably the single best introduction I've ever got. Even though it was written for me, it's your delivery, Carlos, that was outstanding.
I appreciate that, my brother. I really appreciate that. I love emceeing and hosting events. Yeah. You know, I'm trying to give my boy Devon a run for his money. He's one of the best MCs in the world. You know, he's always emceeing great events. So big shout for my brother, you know, and I just love introducing people. You know, I have this ritual, Sean. Whenever I do in life, I always tell myself, and this is anything, like having breakfast with the family, interviewing amazing people like you, speaking at school or speaking in a prison. And I ask myself, how can I take it to a whole nother level? How can I just make it 1% better? How can I make it this more exciting? How can I make it fun? This way, if it's my last one, I played it full out. Absolutely. I had a great time. You know, it's just something that I do, and I do it like subconsciously. And I just love just one of those rituals that I have, you know?
You know what? One of the things I got to say I really love about you, Carlos, and this is why I think you're able to always kick it up to the next notch, is because you manage to connect with whoever it is that you're talking to. You know what I mean? So many people, they talk at you, and you make a personal connection. And once you do that with somebody, then that opens them up to being able to receive your message. But when you're just pounding away at them, so often, even something that's a good message goes right by.
Yes, no, it's so true. And Sean, I want to talk to you about something that it disturbs a lot of people out there, brother. You know, you know, no, not there yet. Matter of fact, somebody told me the other day that was a gear foot. I was like, you gotta be careful with those scorpions. No, but you know what, brother? Check this out, right? Me, you guys know I'm 6'5", 350 pounds. Sean is also, 6+ feet tall and, pretty strong guy. But one thing that I never talked much is that I was really bullied, when I was a kid, because I didn't have that father figure, to teach me all those things. So I was, beauty, quite a field. I was, abused. I was tormented. Mm-hmm. And right now, a lot of you out there have been bullying also in the past. And online bullying, Sean, it's a major threat.
Oh.
The number of suicides, the number of anxiety and fear, all these things, it's growing with such a rapid rate that it pisses me off. And when something pisses me off, I love to talk about it, especially with influencers like yourself, because you have a lot of followers out there and they needed to hear that message more often, to know that they might see us successful, but we also been through that. And what is, talking about that, Sean, like, what do you think? I mean, in your opinion, right? Mm-hmm. What, man, it even got me. Like, I have it over here, read it down.
I know it's
up over here. What is your best advice, right, for someone right now that are having those bullying thoughts that still hunts them down? Because this thing hunts us, and sometimes we people are just not honest to talk about it. And I tell this quite often: your mess will become your message. Whether you were bullied as a kid, you are bullied in a relationship, you are bullied as an actor, maybe they didn't give you that role, or maybe they bully you, mess around with you. And then a lot of actors and actresses, they've been bullied, they've been molested. Sometimes they don't talk about it until a leader like you or myself shows up and tell them, let's talk about that devil. Let's address that devil right now and talk about it.
Well, you made some really good points. First of all, suicide is the 4th leading cause of death among adolescents and teenagers. And now that, we've got this wonderful invention, we've got the internet, but with that comes the negativity of cyberbullying. When I was a kid, I went through some very, very difficult periods being bullied. But, if you got bullied before school and after school. It's pretty much about it. Now with the internet, and with this just pressing one keystroke, people are able to be bullied to their entire school on social media, etc. And it's so damaging. I don't think a lot of kids realize the psychic scars that it leaves on the people that they're bullying. But you made a really good point. You take the things that were the challenges and the difficulties that we had, and that becomes your message. And for me, I'm very involved with an organization called Buddha Bullying. I go and I speak at schools, and the thing we find is that bullying is kind of like a triangle. You've got the people being bullied, you got the people bullying, and then you've got the kids that are witness to the bullying, and it's detrimental to all of them. And so what I do is I go into these schools and we facilitate a dialogue. And it's amazing once you start getting these kids up on stage to talk about it, how honest they are. And so many kids have experienced bullying. Mm-hmm. And I think I would say to the adults and the teachers, if a kid comes to you and is even remotely trying to express that they're being bullied, please listen to them, because that may be the one and only time that kid reaches out and tries to get help from an adult before doing something that is, a very permanent solution to a temporary problem, which is suicide. For me, bullying was really terrible. I mean, it took a long time to get over feelings of shame, feelings of inadequacy. Why was I bullied? Why wasn't I tough enough to stand up? And Carlos, you're right. It's another pandemic. It really
Yeah.
is. It's
You know,
horrible.
and you know why? I'm so glad that we're talking about this, because that leads to something that here's the number one question that I always get, right?
Mm,
How do I find my passion?
yeah.
And I tell people all the time, I like to write it down and I put things on the screen, because some of you guys, I like to say it, visualize. I want you guys to really get this, because we're gonna address the devil tonight, right now, because this is gonna help so many people out there. And I tell all the time, I tell people to go dig deep into our own insecurities,
Mm,
into things that like hunts us down. And then, the things that you fear the most, like really journal through this shit, right? And go through them. 90% of those things would never happen, even though they torment us from bullying. And then as we grow up, like Sean says, if you don't talk and address that, that shit will grow. And you got to kill the monster before it grows.
yeah.
And a lot of you right now, listen to us. Maybe you are going through that. Oh, I can't find my passion. Maybe you are doing a job that you no longer likes. Maybe you are doing a career that was imposed on you. Maybe, you know what I mean? Like right now, a lot of your friends are in LA, right? They actors and actresses, the whole Hollywood industry, it collapsed
Mm,
because of COVID. The studios are shut down. Some of them, are trying to find other things to do on the side. They're not as creative as you are successful, but you know what I mean? So it's like, it's tormenting. And a lot of people come to me a lot, Sean, is like, how do I find my passion? What is your advice, Sean, for someone on how to find their passion?
Look, Carlos, I'm a firm believer that everybody has a masterpiece inside themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And that masterpiece is your most authentic self. And sharing it with the world is the greatest thing that you can do. But I think that it requires that you have some honesty. And the first thing you have to realize is that where you are right now in life is the sum total of the decisions that you have made. And you have to take responsibility from that. You have to have a clear-eyed vision of why is your life the way it is right now. That's the first thing. The second thing, though, is you have to accept the fact that the universe wants you to win. I kind of equate it to like Star Wars, the Force. The Force wants everybody to do well because then it gets stronger. So you got to realize that the universe is not out to get you. Two things I talk about in my new book, Way of the Cobra, and I'm going to try and really encapsulate it and make it quick. I talk about the inner critic. We've all got this inner critic that exists within us. That voice that says, you're too fat, you're not good enough, who'll ever love you, blah, 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 blah. And you've got to realize that that voice is bullshit. And for me, what I've done is I even gave it a name. I think it's kind of funny when you give that voice a name. I call him Little Timmy. And Little Timmy is this little boy, and he stomps his feet, and he cries, and he pouts. And when he starts talking, I'll let him go for about 10 seconds. And then I send him to his room. You're done. Okay? And you have to learn that we all have that voice inside our head, but you got to stop it from playing on that loop, because that loop is what's so damaging. The next thing is, you got to be aware of the stories that you attach to events. Okay, if you attach, I'll give you an example. Say there's two boys, and each one of them grows up, and one has an alcoholic father, beats his mother. It's terrible, and the boy grows up to be an alcoholic himself, because that's what was modeled from his primary male figure. The other boy grows up in an alcoholic household, and he grows up and becomes a tremendous success and says, I will never drink because I'll never be like my father was, and uses that to motivate him. He's attached a different story to what it means to grow up with an alcoholic father. One allows himself to fall into victimhood. The other uses it as the catalyst for change. You got to look at what's been damaging in your life, and what the story is that you're carrying around with that. And if that story isn't serving you, you need to stop. Tony Robbins talks about this. You scratch the record. You know, you completely alter the visual that's on the loop attached to that story, and you create a new one that serves you and that will make you successful.
For real, brother. For real. I love that. Don't scratch my record, you know. But I love that, man. That voice, that's such a great advice, brother. I really hope that you guys can really write this one down. And even as an advice, put that as a reminder on your cell phone. You guys know how I always love to tell you guys to put reminders on your cell phone to go at the end of the day, at the beginning of the day, which voice is it going to serve today? Which voice did you listen the most today? Because this is so, you're touching on such a very, very powerful point, Sean, because 90% of the time, most people are listening to the voice that doesn't serve them.
Right.
Guys, just think about this for a minute. If you are honest with yourself, trust me, this thing hunts us down. Sean and I were talking a lot about mindset, but you know why? If we are honest about it, which we always are, we talk about this on the stages, and that's how we met. Speaking on stages is we talk about, see, we don't preach what we must to remember. We preach what we must to apply every single time, because we have to apply that to our children, to our spouses, with ourselves, with our teams, and our employees, everybody. It's so important that you pay attention. Give a name to that voice. Like, you know, here's the little Timmy. You know, Miles, like the little Carlos. No, not right now. Not right now.
I don't think Carlos was ever little.
Yeah, for real, right now. My mom called me Junior, right? I was like, no, not right now, Junior. No, not right now. Hell no. I said, devil, go away. You know what I mean? And then I joke around. I'm like, in the mighty name of Jesus, not now. You know, and I do those snaps out of nowhere. And people, what are you doing? I'm like, no, I'm not going to feed the monster because I know it's going to knock me out of my game. So whenever I'm here, I wouldn't be able to serve. Like I wouldn't be able to serve when I'm with my daughter, you know, practicing sports, doing martial arts, when I'm with my spouse. If I would allow all this shit that goes down, like the other day I had a farm invasion. My uncle almost died last week with COVID. You know, I have a hacking problem, $3.6 million somebody hacked into one of my accounts. If I would feed and if I would let all this shit consumes, I would be like, hell no. You know what I mean? I would go into alcohol, into drugs. I would like be pissed off, but I'd be like, nope. That was 20 years ago, the old Carlos, like not the new Carlos. You know what I mean? Like I go take my daughter to the park. I go to the garage. I have Bobby. Bobby gets pounded. You know, I go do some martial arts. I go live from the sauna. I like to interview my friends like you and talk about this in a live setting, in an interview setting, because it serves so many people right now. And if it is serving you, let us know. Put some questions here below from whatever you are watching around the world, because this is awesome, brother. This is awesome. And Sean, tell me something. You know, talk to me about, like, you know, being one of the most hated men alive after filming. I bet you a lot of people would dig this. And I know that because you and I have some conversations, having a drink after the times that we spoke together on stages around the world. And when you are out, I know in Brazil, in my country, you are very loved. They cannot even go on the streets out there. And in Italy, you're like, man, you cannot even walk around. You got to have the bodyguards, you know, because all the novellas and the movies and the things that you've done in Europe. But talk to me about, you know, how after you're done with that movie, because that movie exploded, right? The Karate Kid 3. How was it? Like, you know, tell us about some kind of crazy stories that happened.
You know, I mean, the first thing that was interesting is the irony of it, in the sense that, you know, here I was, this kid that was bullied, and now I'm playing this iconic bully, and you know, it was strange, because as I was playing this bully, I was very aware. I had a lot of, you know, flashbacks to, you know, people that bullied me, and I think that gave me a lot of the source material. You know, after I did the film, my life did become very different. Pat Morita and Ralph Macchio, who had done the first two films, you know, they had done all the press. They didn't really want to do it for the third film. So the studio was looking for somebody that would do a lot of the press. And so they turned to me, and I went on a 12-city tour doing press everywhere. And very quickly, you know, I went from being a completely anonymous, unknown actor to somebody that, you know, was getting recognized on the street. And I'll be really honest, you know, I mean, I was a young guy. It was the first time I had a little money. You know,
How old were you? How old were you, brother?
I was 21.
21.
And
Wow.
you know, I made a lot of mistakes, but you know, I think that it was a great experience learning from those mistakes.
Yeah.
You know, I've always felt like if you're an asshole and then you become famous, you become a bigger asshole. And if you're cool and you become famous, you're probably going to stay cool, stay humble. I have wonderful parents who, you know, have taught me some really good lessons. You know, my martial arts training really taught me to be humble and to be just an authentic person. And I think even though I made mistakes, that kind of carried me through it. But you know, Carlos, it was a whirlwind experience. I mean, you know, I have to be honest. It was something that I don't think I can accurately describe if you haven't been through it. But you know,
no, I can relate, Sean, in a weird way. Not weird way, but like in a different way. Like, you know me, right? I used to sell bread in Brazil, making 50 cents a day, right? Selling bread, 11 years on the streets, coming to America, and then I start training criminals out of prison on the hood to become civilians, selling cable door to door. And then we were getting paid around $50 on paper. So our goal was to give it away cable like free for 2 months or 1 month or 3 months, introducing the technology. Back then, people didn't know about the cable boxes. They didn't know about the internet was just transitioning from dial-up like 1.0 to you have the modem to then 2.0 and 3.0, introducing the telephone from the, you know, landline to digital telephone. All those things were new. So I was the guy that had to introduce that shit, you know, throughout the country. And so what I figured, I go and I trained already hustlers. Hey, instead of you hustling drugs, let's go hustle something legit so you can sleep at night. Because some of my homies in Brazil, they die. I don't want you guys to die. I see that you have a kid. I wanted them to have a father, you know? So I ended up making so much money, Sean, because I was going to the hood and to the barrio in places that nobody would go. Corporate America, they wouldn't send salary there because if they would get hurt, they would have to pay insurance. So they would hire contractors. They would hire immigrantos, you know, and then I would go there. So I made so much money. And then I was like, whoa, from poor to making all this cash, thousands and thousands of dollars a week. I was your age. You already know proximity, start hanging around bad places and with bad people and crazy places, alcohol, drugs, strip, joint, go to and now because that shit, you know, all the, that's why. But it's almost like a blessing and a curse because God put you and I through that before we had kids, before, you know what I mean? So that before we were married. So it kind of get that shit out of us but this shit is crazy, man. If you don't pay attention, it's like I always tell people, if you look at your cell phone right now, are the 5 closest friends to you, are they adding fire, right? To your log to your fire, to your bonfire, or are they pissing on it? It's so important.
No, I think one of the most important things, and again, I referenced my book, but I do talk about this in my book, is the ability to have situational awareness, not just about your environment, but about people. You know, you need, and a lot of this comes as you get older and make mistakes, but you need to learn to be able to recognize the people that are the narcissists, the sociopaths, and God forbid, the psychopaths. And you know, learn how to, some of them you can deal with and some you just have to stay away from. And you know, when you started making money, and I was like that too, you become a lightning rod, a magnet to attract some not very good people because you've got money, you've got, you know, some fame, whatever. And that's one of the byproducts. And when you're young, you don't always have the life experience to be wise enough to see it coming. You know, now I'm 53 years old, and for the most part, you know, I'm able to see it coming. You know, every now and then you misjudge somebody. And then something that's maybe less immediately dangerous, but equally pernicious. I talk about identifying people that are emotional vampires. You know, and unfortunately, a lot of them come in the form of, we got that one aunt who, if you ask her how she feels, she's going to keep you on the phone for 40 minutes telling you. And you have to, you know, be able to respect your own time and other people's time. And then I also talk about something called thieves of time. And some of the biggest thieves of time are some of our biggest tools. I mean, I love my iPad, man. I'm on this thing all the time, being productive, doing stuff, making money. But, then I find out like, wow, I just spent the last 30 minutes playing Gardenscape, And I mean, Michelle always jokes she's going to get a grant from the Department of Agriculture because I do so much gardening on that game Gardenscape. But for me, that kind of lets me kind of release the tension. But you got to be aware of the things, the people and the things that are presenting themselves as negative in your life, and do your best to root them out, kind of like a cancer.
Yeah, no, I love that, but I love that, man. I always write it down. If I ever see myself not productive, or I go and I journal. Okay, Carlos, moment of truth. What is it? What you are doing that's unproductive? Are you like, you know what I mean? So I kind of start, and I analyze my week, and I see, okay, Carlos, maybe you did this. You spend too much time on this area, not on that area, on this area, not on that area. But it's that moment of truth, that honesty that will set us free. And Sean, here's something, bro, that I think is also going to help a lot of people right now. I mean, oftentimes, we say that to ourselves. I felt dumb. I feel fat. I felt sorry. I feel like I couldn't do the job. I feel like I don't deserve the next promotion.
Right.
I feel like, I don't. What if I cannot deliver? What if I cannot handle success? What if somebody pays me, $10,000 or hire me for this role, for this movie or that production movie, whatever, and it doesn't work out? We all talk. What is some of the things that how did you talk to yourself to lift yourself up for moments like this during your downtime?
I'll tell you what, I think one of the greatest ways of silencing that voice is obviously having good self-esteem, right? So how do we get good self-esteem? We do estimable acts. We do things that infuse us with esteem, estimable acts. And for me, and I know for you, Carlos, one of the things we love to do is inspire people. And so, I can have a day where I don't make any money, I don't do anything for Sean, whatever. But if I'm able to connect with somebody or a group of people and inspire them, I know I'm doing something positive. That builds my sense of self-esteem, and that's like armor that keeps those voices away. Because I'm like, you're not going to tell me that I'm not good enough when I know that I'm able to help people. You know what I mean? So the more things we do that build self-esteem, the harder it is for those voices to get through the armor.
No, I love that. I love that. What a beautiful answer. It's like always shift it, focus on helping others, focus on helping others, reminding ourselves, hold up, what is all the great things that I have done to help others? Like if I die tomorrow, I always say God is going to have a great place for me up in heaven. I wouldn't be on that line for too long.
Right.
Well, it's a great answer. And I want to talk about your second book, because your second book is a big deal, brother. Success Factor. Yeah, awesome book, So it was recently named one of the 20 most inspirational books in the last 2 decades by Book Authority. Yeah. So in success, Sean, I always tell people, man, it's not hard to make money. It's easy to make money. It's all mindset. It's all how you look at it. There's many things that you can do to make money. Man, I remember times where, I needed, buy a car. I would go to the police auction and I have to buy a car. And, the catch was you cannot turn on the car. So I'll buy it for $200-300, and I will pray to God. I'll be over there. I will pray in Portuguese, and I'll be doing this, do Pai, do Filho, do Espírito Santo. And then I have to go, moments of the truth, turn on the car, and then what I'll buy them, and I will flip it, and then I'll go back, buy and flip it, so I could get a better car that I was able to commute, and then being able to train the guys in the hood and sell cable door to door. So, that's how I worked my way up to sell those cars. But you see, so making money, it's not hard. It's a mindset. The hardest part, Sean, that I've seen, once they make a little bit of money, is maintaining that success factor. That's the hardest thing that I see. That a lot of people, they go and they make it, and then they go like this. That's why I never want to be like a peak performance coach, because once you get to the peak, it must you come down. You know what I mean? So what is one thing, like walk us through like one of the best strategies, Sean, based on your experience, that somebody right now having a hard time maintaining that success, maintaining that momentum? What would the best strategy that you could share with them right here with the people watching us now that could help for them to apply and achieve in their life?
I'm going to share one that's a little abstract, and then I'm going to give you something that is tangible and right now. The first thing is you have to determine what your success is. Okay. What is your success? Because if you're determining your success by looking at somebody's Instagram feed, by watching television and watching the Kardashians, you're always going to feel inadequate. You need to listen. I'll tell you what, I was in acting class with Brad Pitt. Obviously our careers took different directions. Okay. And if I allowed myself to feel that I wasn't successful because of his success, I'd be perpetually unhappy. Okay.
Amen.
Other people's success is not your failure. That's the first thing. So
Amen.
you need to decide what is your definition of success. Imagine a guy who's he's a janitor, okay, and he cleans up after other people, and he's done this for 30 years. It's not somebody that we would traditionally think of as a successful guy. But imagine if that same guy saved all of his money and put his only daughter through medical school, and she would go on to be an emergency room trauma surgeon who saved life after life after life. I would say that guy was pretty successful. Agreed? So you have to determine what success means to you. As far as a practical strategy, get yourself a side hustle. That's what I'm telling you. I mean, there's no excuse with all of the opportunities to use the internet to communicate and connect with other people, or just getting something that you can do from your home that starts small, you build it steadily, you turn it into a machine, and it becomes another revenue stream. And I mean, listen, you might do one or two things and find out they don't work out. You might find that they're not for you, but you find that little side hustle, and slowly you build that into one of your ancillary businesses aside from whatever your main job is. Even if you hate your main job and you got to keep grinding on your main job so that maybe your other little side hustle starts taking off and that becomes your main job. Money is like water. It flows to the path of least resistance. Okay, it likes to go where it's treated the best. And if you're having success with your side hustle, that's where the money's going to go, and you're going to follow after it and take care of it. So that would be one of my best pieces of advice.
Wow. I love that, man. Big time. Other people success isn't your failure. That's why I put it there in capital, because a lot of people here right now, and sometimes, if you allow it, because we all do it, self-included at the beginning, we all try to compare, our chapter 1, 2, or 3 with someone else 20 and 30. But like you say, no, it's like we all different. You know what I mean? It's like 8 billion people out there. It's one of you. I love the answer, but the big time. You know what I mean? So awesome. I'm telling you, I know this is gonna be crazy. Here, we're gonna go for a 40-second commercial break, and then not 40 seconds, maybe 20 seconds, and then we're gonna be right back with some more show. Get ready, beautiful people. And we are back at the Couples Inspired Show. I'm here with my awesome, great friend, Mr. Sean Kanan, legendary, from the Karate Kid 3 movie, amazing. And Sean, right now, tell us about Studio City, man. Wow, 12 Indie Series Award nominations, 8 Daytime Emmy nominations. Hello, I'm a very competitive guy, brother. You know me. You know what I mean? It's like everything that I do in life, I want to be the best at it. I always talk about nobody remembers second places. People always ask me, why you do that, Carlos? It's because I wanted the kids overseas in Brazil, in Mexico, in Africa, China, Singapore. I wanted them to hear it. I wanted them to feel it, that our brother was just like them. Didn't have a father, was broken and poor, and was able to leave the hood. So I do it for them. And I think about all those struggles and that hate, and I transform that into a drive. And that's why I wanted to be the best. And I promised myself a long time ago that I was going to outdo every single son of a gun in front of me at whatever I did in life. And I just, I made a promise to a lot of people that are no longer here too, Sean. A lot of my friends, they are dead. We made a promise that whoever leaves the hood was going to make a difference, was going to make an impact. was going to put money and fame on the side, and was going to do whatever it takes to succeed. And that leads me to the next question, which, relate to Studio City and, all these amazing nominations, because I know you are also extremely competitive yourself. So tell us, about what is that, people ask you the most, my friend, and tell us, not only that, tell us also about, how did you even get this many nominations? Like, tell us a little bit, walk us through, the stuff that nobody sees it behind closed doors, right? They see the glory, nobody sees the story. I'm going all over the place here because I want people to really hit this point, because they all see the glory. They see us on the stage, the Oscars, the money, the cars, whatever, right? But they don't know the dark shit that goes down behind closed doors. You know what I mean? All the hours. So walk us through that. Tell us about the mindset of competitiveness, and then tell us about Studio City and how did you build it up to get to all these nominations?
I think as far as how we got all these nominations, I'm very fortunate that I've got a bunch of very talented and gifted people that are my partners, not the least of which is my wife, Michelle. Michelle was nominated for an Emmy for writing. She's tremendous, tremendous producer. And, this was a project that I had been trying to get made for almost 15 years.
And by the way, a little shout for Michelle. The last episode, I interviewed her. So just go on the YouTube channel and watch the last episode with Michelle Elwa. Killer.
She's an amazing individual. She really is. I think if I had to say what was probably the one reason for me that this became successful is I didn't quit. This was something that I worked at, tirelessly, and just didn't give up on the idea, and just kept grinding and grinding. And I found the right series of partners and circumstances ultimately to get it made. I think that's one of the big things. I've got some very talented friends, the actors who are in it, who graciously came on board for very little compensation to be a part of this because they were inspired by it. And, I don't think we expected to get any nominations. It was an amazing byproduct of a lot of people working really hard. One thing I really like, who Malcolm Gladwell is, right? So Malcolm Gladwell says that to be truly good at anything, you have to put 10,000 hours in.
Yeah.
And I started thinking about that, and I was like, well, I'm sure, LeBron James has shot free throws and played basketball for 10,000 hours. And then I started thinking about myself, and I realized that, I've done over 1,000 episodes of network television. And so I've accrued my 10,000 hours. I've put the work and the dues in, and it was that experience that ultimately led me to a place where I would be able to put my part into Studio City to do my best, and to also work side by side with my team to do their best. So, team effort and a lot of persistence. I've always said you don't have to be the best player on the team. If you're persistent and you work hard, sooner or later the coach is going to pull you off the bench. And then if you have the preparation and the opportunity, that's what creates success.
Wow, man, that's awesome. I love that. I love that. And it's like, in history has taught us so much. All the people that we admire, and from Walt Disney, that was considered stupid and dumb, for achieving what he did. Michael Jordan, oh, you're not good enough. You're never gonna go to college. Yeah, watch me, baby. I remember me growing up in the hood. You're gonna die in the hood, little kid. You're never gonna go in there. You dream too much. I remember my grandma. Hey, son, deixa passar por aqui e sair por aqui. Let it go through one here, get on to the next one, baby.
One of the things, when I'm listening to you talk, and you talk about your relationship with your friends from the hood, you had a really strong why. You had the why that you didn't want to have the economic chaos that I imagine you had. But your other why was, I got to get out so I can help my friends and family. And if you have a really strong, clear why, that's what's going to propel you. That's the thing that when you have a day when you get knocked on your ass is going to pick you up to keep going. For me, my why is my wife, my family. You know what I mean? That's what drives me. That's what fuels me. Maybe like we talked about the kid that grew up with the alcoholic father. Your why can be whatever happens. I'm not going to grow up to be that person. That can be your why. Whatever it is, find it, isolate it, and then for me, find something, whether it's a piece of jewelry, a piece of artwork, something you write down. You talk about journaling. Something that every time you look at it, it's a tangible representation of that why. Even if it's something you have by your door, that every time you walk out into the world, you look at that and go, okay, I'm suited up for war. I'm going to go out there and I'm going to win.
Yes. I love that, but I love that. I have a lot of objects, you know what I mean, throughout my studio. As I look around, a little trophy that my daughter, she gave me, like simple stuff. She bought it like at the dollar store, She's like, Daddy, I want to go to the dollar store. Like, what do you want to go? I want to go buy something. It's a surprise, Daddy. And then she go and buy the trophy, best dad, #1 dad ever. And I have it right here, And I was like, all right, let's go. I go to the dollar store, back in the day, all the time. Shit, not afraid, But that's awesome, brother. And Sean, tell us about. I can't wait, to read. Your new book coming up. Way of the Cobra. I can imagine how much golden nuggets, man. If you're second, no pressure, right? Your second one, you got all these nominations. I can imagine with all the amazing things that went through right now and it went down in the economy. It's like, hold on, what's my face? Oh, why here? Hello, and the way of the Cobra. So I want you to tell us about the way of the Cobra. You know what I mean?
The Way of the Cobra is formed from an acronym, Way of the Cobra. So it's character, optimum, balance, respect, and abundance. Okay, so these are the things that I believe are critical in the world. I talk about a lot of the strategies I've already shared. I believe that each one of us has a Cobra inside of us. It's that inner badass that you have inside of you. And the book is going to help you let it out and understand strategies that are going to help you clear away a lot of the mental baggage, dealing with your inner child, dealing with your inner critic. Like I told you about the little strategy about the little boy that I created, identifying threats. And then I get into strategies where I talk about one of the biggest ones, Carlos, and you can relate to this because you are one, is find a mentor and be a mentor. You are an amazing mentor to people. You inspire me. I know you inspire thousands and thousands of other people. And it's important to find somebody who has walked the path that you want to walk, because they've made the mistakes and hopefully they can guide you past some of the pitfalls. But also it's to prepare you for eventually becoming a mentor yourself. That gets into the whole thing about giving back, about leaving a legacy. Okay. I talk about learning the power of no. Sometimes, so often people, they just want to say yes to everything because they want to be a nice guy. You get it, man. Like we're like this, and the ability to say no is such a powerful thing. What else can I tell you?
I love it, man. I don't want you to give it us all of them, but I'm intrigued.
I'm so passionate about this book.
I'm telling you,
I honestly believe that it can help people. I do talk about what it was like, my experience being a Cobra, but I talk about it because it has a lesson attached to it. So the book is not about what it's like to be one of the members of Cobra Kai. I use the Cobra as a metaphor for that inner strong, beautiful being that we all have inside of us. Because, here's the thing. Cobras are one of the smartest snakes. They're adaptable. They can hunt on the jungle floor and in the trees. They're generally not aggressive unless provoked. And then they strike with coordinated lethality. And so I just thought that's an interesting analogy, obviously tying in with the fact that, there's this Karate Kid Cobra Kai mania. And because it's all about getting the message to people. It's like, what is going to get them to pick up the book, right? You can have fantastic information. You can have a great present. But if the wrapping paper is crummy, nobody wants to open it. So this is what I thought would be the best way to get people to listen to the message. And I really hope people will pre-order the book. It's available now. I'll have it to you for Christmas. It's wayofthecobra.com.
Wayofthecobra.com, guys. Check it out. Wayofthecobra.com.
This can help people.
Wow, man, I can wait to read it. I'll be, I'll put it on my story post on Instagram. We're gonna blow this thing up. Maybe we should throw a party, and get together and throw a party. I talk about other time book,
So,
which is
Carlos, book, and I have to tell you, I loved your book. I love, the stories in the favelas. I read that entire book cover to cover, and it just made me feel a lot closer to you and realize your journey. And I want to share this with people because this is some of my journey.
And I know you did, because I remember when we were in DC and you said you read on the way back from DC, you and I were out there speaking. We were doing something really cool. We were speaking for the Congress and for the inventors. We were out there in Congress, telling them. I was like, you know what? All these politicians, man, they all need our books. The Way of the Cobra and Work Like an Immigrant. You know what? Our books should be in school systems. All those kids had people reach out the other day. Every single school system in college should have our books, straight up, because a lot of those things is this things for that mentality, right? From the hood, martial arts,
myself. You know what you do? We should do something where we contact a bunch of schools. We donate a couple books each to their library.
Yep.
And do some speaking engagements together, because the kids are really the ones that I really want to reach. I mean, there's great strategy obviously for adults, but if you can learn this strategy at a young age, it changes the trajectory of your life.
Yes, no, and you know what? I was speaking for a group of kids in Compton the other day. I'm gonna hook you up with my boy so that you can also speak with those kids. They will love you, brother. And then, yeah, man, that's the stuff that fires me up right there. Because the kids, they are the future. And that's what they need. Is that combination of what you and I went through in life, right? From not having anything, becoming successful, martial arts, making all those mistakes that we done growing up. And then after achieving success, and a lot of people, they don't want to talk about it. But because we are talking here, we are open, and I love that, and I want to honor that. That's freaking awesome, brother. Wow, man. I knew we were going to have a great time here today, Sean. And even some partnerships are happening right now over here live. And, and definitely, and then with the book, anybody that has a book now, by the way, here's a strategy, right? Anybody that has a book, get yourself like 12 apostles, 12 avengers, and you tell them, look, I'm preparing for my lunch party of my book. And here's what I want to do as a trade-off. Every Monday, I'll get on a Zoom call with you and all the 12 apostles or 12 avengers, so my non-religious brothers. And then what you tell them is this. You teach them everything that you know, give them strategies, and then all they do, every time you post anything related to the book, they will share on social media. They will do their stories, and they will share with everybody. So basically, they are your gang, part of your lunch party. So my challenge to you, brother, get 12 of them to be your 12 apostles, and then get a bunch of friends like myself and some of other influencer friends to do a coordinated lunch right around the lunch or the day of the lunch of the book, where we all at the same time give a shout to the book, because I know that this book is going to be very successful. I know a lot of people need to hear that book, and anybody listen to us right now, it's a great strategy to apply, because if you have a book, if you wrote a book, I respect you listening to us right now, because that's your legacy right there. When we are no longer here, I already see it, man. 50, 100 years from now, they will talk about us. You know what I mean? They're like, these guys. You feel me?
Leaving a legacy is a really important thing. And, you don't have to have a lot of money and build a hospital or anything like that. You can live a legacy by the way you lead your life, by the people whose lives you touch, by the way you inspire them, the way you love them. And I honestly believe the kindness that you do for other people, that creates a legacy. So nobody has an excuse not to leave a legacy. You don't need money. You don't need power. You don't need to write a book or be famous. Everybody can leave a legacy with the way that we treat other people. And now more than ever in this society, in this world, we have got to start treating each other with at least mutual respect, at least with civility. You may not agree with somebody, but you don't have to, set their life on fire because they have a difference of opinion.
For real. No, I'm totally with you, brother Sean. You know me, bro. I always try to avoid, politics. But one thing that I hate is when I hear crazy shit, whether it's kids being abused or organ traffic, sex trafficking, or people destroying shit up. You get me. I get pissed. I call my agency office. Hey, what the is going on? Because at the end of the day, how about, like, remember back in the day, bro, in our days, you have a problem? All right, let's fight. Is with the rest fighting. You done? Get over with. Now we're friends. We hug.
Yeah.
Who's hugging here? It's like, how about putting our differences on the side? Religious beliefs, political beliefs. Let's learn, agree to disagree.
Yeah.
We just do that, man. All the leaders of the world, if we just sit down on a table, just like the apostles did, just like the leaders do, and put all the bullshit on the side, like farmers in Brazil, somebody back in the day, or if you kill somebody from that farm, their son, they go and they kill your daughter. Or they go, it's like, Jesus Christ, a knife for a knife only do one thing, and it's make the whole world blind. You feel me? It's about just like, let's put it on the side, all the bullshit, guys. Let's stop fighting. Let's just stop, what can we do to help more people? That's what we should be asking versus all this divisiveness. Who's going to win the election? And who's going to do this? And who's going to do that? Who cares? What it cares is what you are doing right now to better yourself, to better your family, to better your community. It starts with us. You feel me? And brother Sean, that's powerful, brother. And here's something. I want to finish the show on a very beautiful question that I love to ask all my guests. You're a very young man, 52, but you look like you're 35. Let me get some of that.
I'm going to be 54 next month.
Jesus.
54 November 2nd.
Damn, you look like you're like 39 at the latest, brother. Now, I need some of that. You feel me? But tell me something, champion. Tell me something. It's, we're all going to live to like 120, 130 years old, the way how technology is going. So it's 80 years from now.
Yeah.
And it's your eulogy. It's your day. You are no longer here. AC/DC is playing. I'm over there smoking a cigar.
I love it.
I'm a few years younger than you, only a few, not that many. And it's going to get to the part where they're going to be reading. They're going to be writing and they're going to be reading. Get it together, Carlos. They're going to be reading your eulogy and they're going to say, here's how Sean Kanan lived. And Sean Kanan was ... Who was Sean Kanan? What is the legacy? Who was that person? Who you were, brother?
I think I'd be very happy if they said he made a difference. He made a difference. That I had the opportunity and positively affected the world around me in as big a way as possible.
Wow, that's powerful, brother. Ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. I knew it. My boy, my brother from another mother, Mr. Sean Kanan. Hoy, my brother. I appreciate you, my friend. And Sean, yes, my brother. Sean, where can they find you? Where can they follow you? I know that they can go for the book, wayoffthecobra.com. I have a great memory. And where else can they follow you? Where are you the most active on social?
I'm very active on Twitter. It's just at Sean Kanan, and Instagram, and I think it's Sean.Kanan. Find me on Instagram, and I managed to stay out of Facebook for years, and now Michelle's got me on Facebook, so there we are.
Listen to the boss. I know how that feels.
I can't wait until next time I see you, man. I'm really
but I'll be in LA. In a few weeks, I'll hit you up. We're gonna go grab a drink, my friend.
Big hug, okay?
Yeah, but a big hug when you're in the family, guys. There you have it. Carlos Inspire Show, another great episode. Rock and roll. You guys know how we do it here. This is a free show podcast. The way how you can help us is by tagging 3 people here to the show, invite others, and keep showing up to blow up. And you already know it. Life is about contribution, not acquisition. And you know it, baby. The days that break you are the days that make you. Let's go make the world a better place. Let's go, baby. Make the world a better place. And you know it. If opportunity doesn't knock, you know it. You go build the door. Life is about the mission, not the commission. Let's go. It's about to go down another show because you are here. Let's go make this world a better place. Love you guys.